Off the bar, I'm too persistent. Whipping comment, no cast. Get it on my own, no collab. But a bar with me, that's a body bag. Yo, people, what we telling them is your boy, MLC Njies, in the building, fam. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we got the Miyagi and the Panda HATTORI album reaction. You know what I'm saying? Now, you guys obviously told me that this was going to be an album, so I thought it was going to be like 20-25 songs, which is why I said I'll do 3 songs every day. But then when I realized it was an EP and it was only like 6 songs or whatever, I was like, I'll just react to it in one. So I'm going to react to it today and release it today, blood. You know what I'm saying? So here we are. Also, I got to say a shout out to HATTORI as well. Apologies if I'm saying your name wrong or pronouncing your name wrong. He, what do you call it? He translated some of the songs for me. So I'm going to have the lyrics up right here. I took like screenshots of them. So I'll be looking at them on my other screen and that, blood, while we're reacting to this. I think he translated 3 songs for me, and then the other ones will just be regular reactions. And then I obviously got the silhouette video as well at the end as well. So yeah, let's get into it. First song, Miyagi, and who's the next person? I can't remember who the next person is, but there's 2 people on this. Obviously his name is in Russian. I am gonna try to pronounce that, blood, but the song's called Saloon. Let's get into it, blood. You know what I mean? Let's get into it. Let's see what go on. Let's see what the vibes is. Where's my other earphone? What the? Oh. Kind of an omnibus vibe.
Чья-то боль затмила факелов лучи. Символы на печи белели, не предвидевшему залечить. Надо, не надо, бардачим. Следом за миражом ураганы, злоб это палачи. Начислю, выбирай сторону света, кем бы ты ни...
You know why this is mad, bro? Because I've never like watched or listened to a song while reading the... Yo, this is so weird, fam. I don't know. I feel like you don't get the same kind of vibe because you're literally reading the lyrics, blood. Obviously, it makes more sense somehow. The way I like, you know what I'm saying, hear the song and understand the song will be better, but this is very weird to me. You know what I'm saying? But that last line though, blood, bland thoughts were overwhelming us, preventing us from noticing, blood. You know what I'm saying? This significant, yes, and valid reason not to guess, blood. You know what I'm saying? See, now I'm seeing the nice little rhyme schemes and how he likes to rhyme his words and that, fam. Don't growl for somebody's pain. For somebody's pain has overshadowed rays or flames. But that first line, that second line that he went into, bland thoughts were overwhelming us, preventing us from noticing. That's a thing that goes on in this modern day, bruv, is that people just fill your brain with stupid things when you go onto Twitter, onto Instagram, even YouTube at times, but every day we fill our brains with stuff that literally does not mean absolutely anything, fam. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't really feed us, doesn't really give us any motivation or reason to do anything in that, fam. But you just got to realize that. So like when you're watching a film or when you're watching a YouTube video, just know what it's doing to you, because sometimes I'll watch entertainment just to make me laugh, but realistically it's not doing anything for me, blood. It's not feeding me, you know what I'm saying? It's not giving me any knowledge, blood, you know what I mean? So yeah, you just got to realize that, blood, whatever you're doing, fam, you know what I'm saying? With whatever you're feeling.
Берега реки не вывезут эти качели, ты выбирай сторону света. Бездушный труп этот глупый.
Hold on a minute, blood, because now he's using the patois terms and that, blood. I just saw a little wagwan in there, fam, you know what I'm saying? And I also can notice the little rhyme schemes that is going on, because now it's like before I would just hear the sound. Now, because I got the lyrics and that, it's like the words are now filling in the gaps for me, blood. And I can see how he likes to format his rhyme schemes and them thing there, fam. You know what I'm saying, blood? But the wagwan in there, though, I heard that. You know what I'm saying, blood? I heard that. Well, let's go back, let's go back.
Качели, ты выбирай сторону света. Бездушный труп этот глупо. Играть преступника. Чувство будто бы куплены. Только не мямли тут это. Не круто. Накрученный баламут. Заканчивай эту муть. Не в этом суть. Прямиком из омута без потерь. Добрая плейба на подорванном тут выбивала дверь. Без таргета, без бабла. Без таргета, без бабла.
Вечер идет, время людоед. Заряжаю трек, вырубаю свет.
срывает план.
Believe or not, time is a man-eater. Oh my days, but listen. I literally just listened to someone else's Daily Dopey the other day. The guy's called Meeks and that, and the way he was writing. Sometimes the way these rappers write, I always tell you, there's certain rappers that always write with a purpose, fam. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's for, you know what I'm saying, whether they're talking like a religious perspective, whether they talk about people that live in like the hoods and the ghettos of the world, like people talk in different perspectives and that, fam. You know what I'm saying? And it's not normally like when I listen to people like Miyagi, bro, from the vibe that I get, and now from the lyrics that I'm seeing as well, they're more so talk from a like philosophical type of view and that, blood. You know what I mean? Like a historical type of view and really educate you. They talk on a perspective of like the world type of thing, not just Russia, not just a certain type of place. So you know what I'm saying? Like you can relate to it even if you haven't been from where they've been. And that's what I like, fam. That is a big line to open up with, blood. You know what I'm saying? Time is a man eater, and that is a fact.
Дикеры будут возвращаться, кусать и грабить, ломать и гадить. Беги, это не по зубам бить. Но мы снова мутим ход, пусть нам повезет. Притаилось зло, знаю наперед. Боремся за мир, нервы на пределе. Прожигаем жизнь, защищаем земли. В салоне злоба бестерная, заливал печально. Задолевали мысли пресные, мешали замечать эту весомую, да, и вескую причину не гадать. Жители нет потери, не нам решать, не нам решать.
And now also seeing the lyrics, it tells me that Miyagi is capable of multiple things, because for you to be a legend in music, you have to be able to storytell, you have to be able to have flows, you have to be able to, you know what I'm saying, have bars, you have to be able to say certain things and say just one line that just can make the listener just think, and you know what I'm saying, like think of multiple things and just put him into a complete trance and that, you know what I'm saying, and think of multiple things and inspire him to do multiple things, fam, you know what I'm saying, just from one or two lines and that, and Miyagi definitely does that, and also the people that he raps with and that are around him and that, blood, you know what I'm saying. But as soon as it comes on, it's like when I was hearing the other guy, blood, you know what I'm saying, who's Endshpilь apparently, it's like he's like a poetic kind of flow and that, blood, you know what I mean, kind of like slower, blood. You can tell that when he's doing his thing, he's concentrating on what he's saying. Then Miyagi comes in and then you're listening to the flow and it's nice and it's smooth and it's wavy and that, but then you look at the lyrics and you're like, okay, he's got lyrics with it as well, fam, you know what I'm saying. So that just tells me what the guy's philosophy.
Я снова поднимал, ведь это далеко не рай. Тут каждый дикер каннибал. Для меня глупого, наивного сей мир
Man said we're fighting for peace, nerves on edge, burning our lies, defending our lands and that, blood, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, if you love something so much, but if you know what I'm saying, don't want to see something go, if something's been a part of you for so long, but it doesn't matter what you're going through, man, you're gonna defend it with your life, blood. It's like you wouldn't, if a stranger's getting attacked in the street and that, blood, you might not jump to a rescue or to his rescue, but if it's your family now, it's a completely different situation now. Even if your life is at risk, but you are gonna take that extra step because that's someone that you love, you know what I'm saying? It's a completely different feeling in that, fam, you know what I'm saying? We fight for what we love, blood, you know what I mean? And that's the first song, blood, you know what I'm saying? Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. That's the first song. And now we got Miyagi and someone else who I don't know exactly who that is, 1 minute. Alright, so we're back to our normal reaction form when we're reacting to this one, because I don't have a translation for this one. So we're just going to react to it like how we normally react to things, but you know what I'm saying? Taking the vibes, taking the elements, taking the energy.
Моя королева ночь, моя музыка пера. Чем тебе помочь, забываешь номера. Убегаешь прочь, догоню, это игра. Убегаешь прочь, догоню, это игра.
It sounds like he just woke up, like the way he's coming. Man literally just looks like he just woke up and the studio was right next to his bed and he got up, like, or speaking like, you know, this is exactly how you sound when you wake up and that, fam, you know what I mean?
Чем тебе помочь, забываешь номера. Убегаешь прочь, догоню, это игра. Убегаешь прочь, догоню, это игра. Королева ночь, моя музыка пера. Чем тебе помочь, забываешь номера. Убегаешь прочь, догоню, это игра. Убегаешь прочь, догоню, это игра.
Also, sorry, before we get into the, because I realized that was the hook and that, fam. Before we get into anything else, let me know what this coin also signifies and that, blood, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, when Miyagi and them guys do their things, they're very methodical with how they write the music, with the things that they attach to it, and the cultures that they adapt into it. You know what I mean? And from what I'm getting from this whole album, from the trailer, you know what I mean, from what I heard in the last song, it sounds like this song is going to be something kind of like a history lesson, kind of, if you would say, blood. You know what I'm saying? So I know everything's going to have an actual theme in that, blood. You know what I'm saying? Even the way he's rapping right now. You know what I mean? So let me know what this little coin signifies and that, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Как бы не было, мы снова двери на засов. Но откровения тут песнопениями слов. Моя муза ремесло, видимо мне повезло. Звуками писали картины, обожаемая мистика погладила изобилие на листы, неконтролируемая любовь. Ноты собирали в мотивы, завораживая песнями, насладили тебя растерянного и непризнанного. Тебя растерянного и непризнанного.
Что меня греет внутри, пали, это мелодия, мелодия, мелодия.
At the start of Miyagi's track, or the start of his verse, you could hear he kind of went melodic with it. So did this person right here. He got methodical with it as well. Not methodical, sorry. He got melodic with it as well. And then I like how the guitar came in and accompanied him. Because like I always say, production nowadays, I like it more. You know what I mean? Well, not necessarily I like it more, but I just like the style of production nowadays because they keep adding instruments in, fam. Normally before, back in the day, when they have like an instrumental, whatever you hear at the start, that's what's going to be there for the whole song. Now, they'll take something out, they'll put it back in, they'll take the drums out, put the guitar back in, take the guitar, put some bass guitar, like, you know what I mean? I like how they mix and match the instrumentals as the song goes on. So as that guy just came in and did his thing, you heard the guitar coming, and that was nice right there. I like that.
Что меня греет внутри, пали, это мелодия, 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 мелодия любви. Сонный город без людей. Снова в поисках идей. Пою откровенно, не в ноты, зато с душой без заботы. В новый день, смотри как в панче сделал мод теплее и ярче. Все ради тебя, в этом весь я. Твори добро, лейся песня.
From the way he's speaking, you can tell he's kind of painting a picture, blood. Because like I said, if they are coming from like a storytelling point of view, because it depends how they're coming. He could literally just be talking about general things and that, blood. Like I said, blood, they like to take just like real life experiences and just things that and put them into very weird, not necessarily weird ways, but they take things that obviously we all know, blood, things like death, things like general things in life, but they put it in a way that really makes you think. So that's what he might be doing right now, or he might be storytelling. But the way because obviously I don't understand what he's saying, but the way he's leaving gaps in his flow, it gives you time to think and ponder on what he's saying. People like sometimes Notorious B.I.G. used to flow like that, or there's an artist in England called Gigs where they'll leave gaps in their flow. So normally they say something, then they say another thing, then they say another thing. So you have to like keep up with them and realize everything they're saying and dissect everything they're saying. But with flows like this, because there's gaps in between each line, it gives you extra time to think about what the previous line was, blood, you know what I'm saying? Which kind of intrigues me that I might actually have to find these lyrics afterwards and that, blood, you know what I mean?
Тебя в этом весь я. Твори добро, лейся песня. Плавно строю планы, мама. Солдяне усталые, пусть это тернистый путь нелегкий. Впереди опасный слалом. Так что же греет нас внутри? Тишина нависла. Это мелодия.
like what the audible production did with this beat as well, but with all the instruments and everything that's involved. It's kind of, you know, like when you're looking at something but your vision is kind of blurry, so you can't see it perfectly. That's kind of like what they did with this. Everything isn't as clear as it could be. It's not as crisp. It's kind of distorted by a tiny bit in that bit, which gives it this little kind of like different kind of feeling in that bit. You know what I'm saying? Because when I hear stuff like this, but it's like literally like, it's kind of like I'm in like a cave or whatever, you know, like that kind of theme and them thing there, fam. Like imagine listening to a song in a cave and that, and how it would sound. It doesn't sound as clear. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what this beat is right here, and I like that right there. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it adds a different type of exploration when you're thinking about this song and how it makes you think about it. You know what I mean? Come on. I feel like I've heard an instrumental like that from these guys before. It's kind of similar to that one right there. Alright, now we got the next song, which is Miyagi. And I think this is the same guy again and again and again. This might be Endshpil, you know what I'm saying? On the same track again, you know what I'm saying? But alright, we got the next track right here. Man like HATTORI, I think he fingered this one for us. Yeah. He translated this one for us. And shout out HATTORI 1,000 times, man. He's been literally around since I started doing my music reaction. Translates what I'm saying for, you know what I'm saying, the Russian people that come through, translate the Russian songs for me and that blood, you know what I mean? So shout out to him, you know what I mean? He puts a lot into the channel, and you know what I said, no one asked him. He's just off his own, the kindness of his own heart. So shout out to him. And let's get into the next one. Very mano.
Погода карала битом, игривый настор прятал пули в строках. Не было времени, я ударил в грязь лицом, залипли в окна.
Literally, before the song even started, I was looking at the lyrics and I was like, this one's gonna be a deep one, blood. Man said the weather was punishing with a beat. A playful mood was hiding bullets in lines. If you man have lived, I don't know what the weather is like in Russia, but I lived in Gambia from 2006 to 2014. And during the rainy season, blood, it rains heavily, blood. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much the whole country's not necessarily flooded, but there's a lot of water in the roads and that, blood, a lot of big puddles and that. And when the lightning's coming down and it's raining really heavy, blood, it is like the rain's actually playing a beat and them thing there. And there's multiple cultures that actually adopt that. During them times when there is heavy rain, there's certain cultures that will have like certain festivals or certain rituals that they might do as well, blood, you know what I mean? Because depending on what kind of weather it is, but it is like it inspires a certain type of emotion out of you type of thing, fam. You know what I'm saying? So certain cultures utilize that, blood, you know what I mean? But that's a fact though. You know what I'm saying?
Напекло слов, что затмевало солнце, не горело больше давно.
Let's return. This is gonna be mad.
Погода карала битом, игривый настор прятал пули в строках. Не было времени, я ударил в грязь лицом, залипли в окна. Пекло слов, что затмевало солнце, не горело больше давно. Стерегу тебя творчеством, так и продолжу. Лирика дистрикта всегда обитала близко. Люди городили чушь порой, да так, что не остепениться. Мертвые души, громкие выстрелы, бледные лица. Мы говорили за гетто, детка, было 20, стало 30.
You see what I'm saying? This is exactly what I'm saying. So normally it depends on what type of perspective he's talking on, because these guys talk on so many different things. It's sometimes hard to tell what they're talking on. But from right here, blood, he's speaking on the perspective of the ghetto. And I said that, blood, they speak on from different perspectives and different point of views, which makes these guys so cold in that, fam. And the fact that he can switch up his flow 24/7, because normally artists just maybe good at this or just maybe good at this, but people like Miyagi and the people around him, they're good at this as well. And his flow, the way he's making his voice sound very raspy and very manly, blood, I like that right there, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Чушь порой, да так, что не остепениться. Мертвые души, громкие выстрелы, бледные лица. Мы говорили за гетто, детка, было 20, стало 30. Тут каждый может задеть за живое. Новости, панчи, собак, да слухи толкали гнилое. Гребаный пустослов окинет взглядом тело в коридоре. Те, которые бежали за ветром, больше не искали море.
So he's basically talking from a perspective of this is basically a dog-eat-dog world and that, fam. You know what I'm saying? I think he's more so explaining on the places that he came from, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? Like he's really took yo. And the thing is, the way he's talking, you can tell that he's lived this, because there's certain artists that they'll kind of talk from like the hood's perspective or from a certain place perspective, and you can tell they haven't actually been through that, because what they're saying is just surface level and it's very vague and that. But the way he's talking and the way he's putting these lyrics and that, blood, you know what I'm saying, especially in these certain countries where there's constant war going on, fam, you know what I'm saying, a heavy military presence and that, blood, you know what I'm saying, you literally live by guns every single day, die by guns every, like, you know what I'm saying, you can tell, you know what I'm saying, that he's literally speaking of a point of experience right now, fam, and it's not just through the eyes of like anyone else, this is from him himself, fam, you know what I'm saying.
Тут день сурка, каждый божий день, липкий темный став разбудил эту тягу к воде.
Those who were chasing the wind weren't looking for sea anymore, fam. Oh my days. And that's the thing, if you really break it down and you think about these lyrics, they're very simple, but he just puts them into a way that has to make you think, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean about these guys. They take just regular everyday things that people go through and put it in a sort of way that makes you think, blood, you know what I mean?
Которые бежали за ветром, больше не искали море.
Oh, it's the Groundhog Day every day. Oh! If you watch Groundhog Day, it's basically a film where this guy goes through the same day every single day, blood. The same things happening every single day, blood. The same day again and again and again and again and again and again. And that's exactly what I just said, blood. You know what I'm saying? It's literally like the same thing going on every single day. And that's what he just said, blood. You know what I'm saying? Groundhog Day is like it's happening every single day, fam. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't seen that film, definitely go watch it, blood. You see what I'm saying about the bars? He's got the flow, he's got the bars, he's got the tempo of his voice. He knows how to play with it and them thing there. When he wants to go melodic, when he wants to go low, blood, you know what I mean? Because this makes you concentrate. When a man speaks, blood, you know what I'm saying? Like if a man comes and like, starts to speak to you and them thing there with a deep voice, it makes you like listen, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly how he's speaking right now. He's making sure you're listening and you're hearing exactly what he's saying, blood, you know what I'm saying?
Те, которые бежали за ветром, больше не искали море. Тут день сурка, каждый божий день, липкий темный став разбудил эту тягу к воде.
I like that flow right there that it does.
Те, которые бежали за ветром, больше не искали море. Тут день сурка, каждый божий день, липкий темный став разбудил эту тягу к воде. Будешь на устах или же вах, будешь на дне. Те, которые бежали за ветром, будто сгорели в огне. Время не делай из меня, ты где?
Time don't make a demon out of me. I have only light after myself, since we're all here only temporarily, bruv. That's and this is the second time that they've kind of mentioned stuff about time and that, blood, you know what I mean? Because obviously Endšpilь, the way he opened up his line in his first track where he appeared, you know what I'm saying, talking about time is a man-eater. Now, man like Miyagi and that is now talking about we're only here temporarily and them thing there. But I feel like when you're in certain, when you live in the hood, when you live in the ghetto of these like Brazil, blood, you know what I'm saying, England, America, Russia, Africa, wherever you are, blood, it makes you appreciate life more, blood, because it's like you see people lives go just like that every single day, young, old, blood, you know what I'm saying, middle age and that. So it kind of really puts life in a perspective, blood, you know what I mean? Whereas here, for example, the life I'm living right now, blood, obviously I'm not saying that I'm comfortable, you know what I'm saying, 1000%, I'm definitely not comfortable or whatever, blood, I'm not in the best of situations, you could say, you know what I'm saying, but it's still somewhere where like I can take life bit by bit, kind of like see what's going on, you know what I'm saying, really take in life. Some people can't do that, fam, you know what I'm saying? Some people literally, all that's on their mind, bro, for the day is just surviving, bro. Just survive. That's it. That's all they can think of every single day. That's all they can think of is just surviving. Whereas me, I'm thinking of, oh, I gotta do a YouTube video, blood. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting in front of a PC right now with 3 screens talking to you guys. Some people don't have the luxury to do things like this, blood, because they literally can't, blood. Whether it's because of money issues, blood, or just literally they live in a war zone. So all they have to think of every single day is survival. Like imagine that, just a regular person, all they can think about every single day is survival, like you're in the military or something, blood. You know what I'm saying? You didn't ask for this, but it's just the place that you were born in, that, fam. You know what I'm saying? It really puts things into perspective for you.
Оставлю здесь после себя лишь свет, ведь все мы тут временно. Время не делай из меня, ты демона. Оставлю здесь после себя лишь свет, ведь все мы тут временно. Мое пристрастие подобно выстрелу,
Я хотел тебя спасти в попыхах.
Literally, I just basically everything I'm saying, it ties into what these guys are talking about. He just said, my passion is like a shot. I wanted to save you hastily, find at least something pure blood. You know what I'm saying, fam? But like I said, some people just don't have the luxury of to do certain things, or certain things that they want to do just kind of like pass them by in that blood. You know what I'm saying?
Мое пристрастие подобно выстрелу. Я хотел тебя спасти в попыхах найти хоть что-то чистое.
Whoa, I gotta change. You know what I'm saying? Alright, we're here.
День за днем раздувал огонь в этих куплетах. Говори мне что угодно, один я весь на нервах. Хоть и бывало выпадал из контекста вырванные фразы, спасались бегством. Тут в ауте, скрывались в ауде, путались в правде. Держим курс на стул.
We can't be fucked over, blood. We've learned to draw conclusion. That's what I'm saying, blood. When you're in these situations and these environments, it teaches you a lot of things. Because like I said, depending on where you've grown up and depending on where you're from, blood, it makes you grow very quickly, blood. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with my people, with black people living in the hood, living in the ghetto and that, blood. You know what I mean? No matter where they are in the world, it makes you living in those kind of places. You have to grow very quickly, blood. You know what I mean? Because at a young age, you pretty much have to already chip in and look after your family, fam. You know what I'm saying, blood? Because one person can't be the breadwinner in a household like that, in the ghetto, in the hood, and that. It has to be a multitude of people. So you're born and you already have responsibility and them thing there, fam. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what these men are talking about, fam. You know, see, I like songs like this, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially seeing the lyrics and them thing there, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, puts everything into perspective and that, fam. It's like a puzzle now. Everything's coming together.
Выпадал из контекста вырванные фразы, спасались бегством. Тут в ауте, скрывались в ауде, путались в правде. Держим курс на студию. Хорошо, ведь там, где нас не наебать, мы научились делать выводы. Орки под ногами, так ведь по делам ироды. Где-то жестко, где-то здраво.
Man said the weather changes and values and understandings along with it over again. With a thick bass, I feel great. Underground is like a verdict, but it's a kingdom for some blood. Oh my days. You know how mad that whole scheme is right there. The weather changing and values and understandings along with it, blood. Weather changes like that, so do people's moods, so do people, you know what I'm saying? So then with Mother Nature, blood, and with the way the universe operates, and also human beings, you can see a little correlation, you know what I'm saying? Just like the way the weather turns, so does your mood. Today you're happy, tomorrow you're sad, and that. The other day you were nervous, blood. Today you're anxious, and them thing there, from a constant change of emotions and that, blood. Then he said with a thick bass, I feel great, and that, from, you know what I'm saying? Whether that's from the music that he's talking about, from a musical perspective, or like I said, when there's heavy rains or when there's lightning and them thing, they are thunder, blood. It's like a heavy bass, blood. So that's like a double entendre, blood. You know what I'm saying? He's playing with both things, in the weather aspect and also the music aspect. Then he said underground is like a verdict, blood. You know when you die, blood, and you put underground in them thing there, blood, heaven or hell and them thing there. It's like a verdict. Where do I go from? You know what I'm saying? But it's kingdom for some, blood. Exactly, blood. I guess that can be like multiple people, because some people find comfort. Like there's some people that like in life that have like religious beliefs and they just think that they're going to hell, blood. You know what I'm saying? But there's also people that believe that they're going to heaven and them thing there, blood. But people will find comfort in either or, blood. It's not just everyone wants to go to heaven or everyone wants to go to, you know what I'm saying? Some people want to go here, but other people obviously want to go here. Why you'd want to go to hell, I do not know, blood. For whatever that reason that may be for some people, blood, you know what I'm saying? But it's a kingdom for some, blood. Or we could talk about from like the devil's perspective, or, you know what I'm saying? Because underground, God is up in the sky, blood, but the devil is underground, a kingdom for him, blood. You know what I'm saying? That's where he lives and that. So yeah, you can take these things in multiple ways and that. That whole scheme, though, from my man, blood, was absolutely cold.
Имею мнение, имею право. Все циклично, меняется погода, вместе с ней ценности и восприятие. Опять по новой, с плотным басом. Чувствую себя прекрасно. Андеграунд как приговор, но для кого-то царство.
Время не делает из меня, ты демона, 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 демона. Оставлю здесь после себя лишь.
Also, one thing I gotta say, it is very difficult for me to track the lyrics. For example, when I pause the video and I like go back and like I skip back, for example, I go back one or two things, it's hard for me sometimes to find where I was at type of thing, fam. So sometimes you'll find that I'm ahead or behind a little bit.
Демона, демона. Оставлю здесь после себя лишь свет, ведь все мы тут временно, временно, временно. Время не делает из меня, ты
That's also cold because obviously he's saying the same hook again and again and again, but the first two parts he was literally just singing it, blood, and then he put it in melodic form and them thing there. I like that right there. You see what I'm saying, blood? Just simple things like that, man. Just simple things like that. But if I wasn't, for example, if I didn't have the lyrics, I wouldn't have realized it because it sounds similar, blood, that is going again and again. But now that I actually have the lyrics in front of me and can see it, blood, it puts everything into perspective, blood. So he raps the first two and then he sings the last two.
Оставлю здесь после себя лишь свет, ведь все мы тут временно, временно, временно. Время не делай из меня, ты демона, 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 демона. Оставлю здесь после себя лишь свет, ведь все мы тут временно, временно, временно. Время не делай из меня, ты демона, 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 демона. Оставлю здесь после себя лишь свет, ведь все мы тут временно, временно, временно.
That was a cold track right there. That was a cold track. And once again, I like how Miyagi literally puts himself around like-minded people, because it's not like Miyagi is the best rapper out of all of his friends and out of all of his co-workers and that, fam. You know what I'm saying? He's the best and all the rest of them are down here. Nah, all of them are at a high level. All of them kind of think the same and that musical ability is kind of on the same level and them thing there, blood. Obviously, you'll have your favorites and that, but just that all of these guys think exactly the same is beautiful to see, man, because Miyagi is saying things that's making me go, yo. And also the other artists are also saying things that are making me go, yo, you know what I mean? And I like that right there, blood. That's just life in general as well, blood. No matter what your purpose is in life, find people that share a similar purpose to you and that, fam. You know what I'm saying? So that all of you can elevate together, blood. You know what I mean? Because if Miyagi was the one rapper that was conscious, he was so good at everything that he was doing, but then was messing around with artists that weren't on his level and that, fam. You know what I'm saying? He would never really elevate or actually, you know what I mean, get better, blood. He would just be kind of like plateaued and stay the same. But the fact that he's got competition around him, people that think the same way as him, people that, you know what I'm saying, it makes all of them better and that, fam. And I like that right there. Now we got the next song and that, fam. I could be wrong, blood, but I feel like Endšpil is literally the person that's literally, wait a minute, let me see something. Miyagi HATTORI. Let me go to the Hajime page. Let me see if the names is similar, blood. Yeah, I think it's Endšpil that's been on all of these. I'm tweaking, bruv. I could be tweaking. It's either Endšpil or Andy Panda, blood. It's one or the other, fam. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's Endšpil because when HATTORI was what do you call it? When he translated one of the songs, he had Endšpil as one of the fingers, which I think, yeah, these are all Endšpil still. Me can't even lie. But yeah, let's get into the next song. You know what I'm saying? I think that last song might have been my favourite so far, blood. Like I said, the way Miyagi was using his deep voice and them thing there, fam, you know what I'm saying? How he was singing and that, blood, you know what I mean? Using the melodic tone. Endšpil went off as well, blood. He also made me think, and yeah, I think the last one was my favourite so far.
Тут бла-бла намешано, будто бы нету прежнего. Нас тропа дорог вела меня куда-то. Тут бла-бла намешано, будто бы нету прежнего. Нас тропа дорог вела меня куда-то грешного.
See what I'm saying? So now I have a certain type of understanding. So the flow that he just did right there, blood, he literally came in with this line, then this line and that, fam. Then he didn't complete the word. He left it for this one. Because you see how these lines are all longer than this one and that, fam. That makes me now understand the flow and that, bro. You know what I'm saying? So he's not just doing the same flow every time. He's making them complex and that, fam. You know what I'm saying? He cut off the word, finished it, then came back in here and that, fam. And then longed out the lines and them thing there. So now it's making me understand his flow a little bit more. That probably didn't make sense to you, but it made sense to me, fam.
Заклевал себя, конечно же. Водила за нас подло жизни, любые повешены. Под предлогом искренности ты не прячь ножи. Близким быть гораздо каждый по желаниям.
What I'm saying, for him just mentioning things like metamorphosis and them thing there, that's what I'm telling you. They speak on a philosophical, just life, large, you know what I'm saying? That's exactly how they speak and them thing there.
Лежи в этом мире для людей, потерявших слух души. Я запутался, прошу тебя, молчание мельтеши. Меня кидало от заката до рассвета голова. Я солдат, что в лазарете снова рисовал слова, разрезая портупею, проклинал.
loads, blood. And then his, what do you call it? His he's got like a person backing him. Well, it's him himself, the back. I forgot what to call it. I wouldn't necessarily call it an ad-lib, but him in the background and that finishing his own sentences and them thing there, fam, that's called right there, fam. You know what I'm saying? Accompanying what he's saying.
Солдат, что в лазарете снова рисовал слова, разрезая Португею, проклинал эту войну.
He can't stretch out his vocal. He cannot stretch out his vocal at the end of every single line that he says. He has to go on to the next line. So instead of him doing it, he made a backing vocal that can stretch it out for him, and then he goes on to the next line, then he does it again. I like that right there, fam. Innovative.
За похабную идею здесь готовы утонуть. Не теряю. Мы многого не понимали. Не теряю. Не теряю. Мы многого не понимали. Не теряю.
And that's a fact, but we haven't been understanding a lot without losing. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's more situations, most uncomfortable situations, bro, teaches you a lot. When you're comfortable in the situation, it doesn't really teach you much because you've been here before. You're comfortable, blood. You know what I mean? But when you're scared, when you're losing in a situation, when you're uncomfortable, it teaches you a lot, blood, because you're uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? You're anxious, you're scared and that, fam. You know what I mean? You have to find the ways to get out of this thing and them thing there. So it teaches you a lot, blood, because your body is in a space where it's never been before. So now it has to react and do things that it's never done before, which then, you know what I'm saying, increases your ability to think and solve problems and, you know what I'm saying, deal with situations and them things. It's like when you go to the gym and you're training them, like you tear your muscles, because that's what it is, bro. When you're training your muscles, you tear your muscles, but they repair and then grow bigger. That's how bodybuilders and just people in general get bigger, fam. That's how the body works. Same thing with the mind, same thing with the body. When they're put in uncomfortable situation, it doesn't know what to do, so it has to create different scenarios and situations and solutions and that, blood. But you get better from it and them thing there, fam. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's always good to take some losses. You know what I mean?
Как мелодия ласкает мою душу каждый день. Люби и процветай.
You know how the melody caresses my soul every day, but come on, fam.
Мелодия ласкает мою душу каждый день. Люби и процветай. Скрути его для мира и пусти по городам. Это особенный момент, не прозевай. Пусть для нас это будет уроком. И по пустякам, слезы по щекам. Выпустим шары из окон. Вместе с ними все, что приносило боль. Не просто так, отдаем момент и получаем.
Yeah, man, I gotta change. Alright.
Я снова слышу голоса. Не верь, не бойся, делай сам. Выбросим гаджеты и вновь вернемся в детство. Не жди, не беспокой, видимо мы...
Hey, don't believe, don't be afraid, do it yourself. Hey, let's throw gadgets away and return the childhood once more. Don't wait, don't bother, blood. Someone here? I thought someone came home, blood. Almost shook me up and that. You know what I mean?
Сами травим мечты, пока тут только войны, голод и дым. Это должно прекращаться. Разве вы не за?
Sorry, I gotta come back to this line though. He said this line earlier, but I didn't stop it. And I said, apparently we poison dreams ourselves, and that's a fact, fam. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a memory, because it's something that's in your head, because it's something that's not actually real life and something that you can touch and something that you can see. Sometimes people think that it's not possible. So before you've even tried to achieve the dream, you basically already told yourself, yeah, this is not possible at all, because it seems so far away. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's just hope though. When you're in certain situations, but you lose hope, bro. You know what I'm saying? So when you do have these dreams, it just completely kills it, because you have no hope, you have no perseverance in that, because of the situation that you're in. You think that you're never going to come out of it, blood. You know what I mean? But you just got to have that perseverance, that willpower to believe that, you know what I'm saying, it's going to get better one day. You know what I'm saying? And that's just life in general, man. It's like me, I'm not a person that really gets sad or really gets disappointed or anything like that, fam. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's life. Things happen in life, blood. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the struggle, blood. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's now, whether it's when I was younger and them thing there, fam. I've been in situations that are a mad situation to most people and that, fam. You know what I'm saying? But it ends. You know what I'm saying? It ends eventually. Just gotta keep pushing.
Не теряй ее. Не теряй ее. Не теряй ее. Не теряй ее. Не теряй ее.
I do not remember these guys using live percussion, bro. That's not no electronic instruments, but that's live percussion, bro. Live percussion. Live instrumentation. Yeah, that was definitely not a baby, but that was a grown man that was doing that, fam. Anyway, next one. So now that's 4 songs in. Now we've got these last 2. Obviously, I don't have the lyrics for these 2, and I'm not gonna bother look them up. I'll just I'll just try to find them when I've done all of these reactions and them thing there, fam. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's get into it. We got Miyagi and Endšpilь, I think again. Need Me.
Need me.
But English vibe.
Добровольно солнце согревало твою суть, но злыми лабиринтами терялись эти дни. Сам себе невзгодами тут не давал уснуть, а все, что я искал, когда-то находил внутри. Истинами лживыми дорога далека, но все же рассудительно распутывал следы. Не позволь язвительному тону пустяка убивать минуты очевидной красоты.
One thing I've realized is that everything that they're doing in each song is just been completely slowed down. Like I said, this whole album, blood, from the album trailer that they released, you could tell that it has a lot of meaning to it, blood. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of meaning to it. So the way they're rapping kind of makes sense, because if they had a very fast flow, blood, a very, you know what I'm saying, like an Eminem kind of flow, you know what I'm saying, just going at 10 times, 15 times speed, it would be hard for you to take in the lyrics. But I think that's the most important thing for this, is that the lyrics, yes, they are flowing, yes, they are creating, you know what I'm saying, melodic tones and all of them thing there, but the most important things are the lyrics. So the fact that they've slowed down the flow, blood, it highlights that very well, blood, you know what I mean? So they definitely chose the right type of flow and the right type of vibe and the right type of elements for each track right here.
В этом мире заплутавших королей наверняка почувствуют себя не больно смелым негодяй. Дымом растяну куплеты слов до потолка и чарами доходчивыми отравлю печаль. Безутешная дарованная небом благодать оплакивала снова окровавленный закат. И сегодня мы заместо того, чтобы пропадать, будем любить и созидать.
Все сложится, все моментально, без лишних эмоций, мысли о прошлом. Все, что я сделал со зла, не нарочно, пусть все останется в прошлом. Останутся ли яркими отсылками слова, что подарили близкие по духу люди? Я не знаю всех.
See what I'm saying? Because the flow's not complicated, it kind of makes you have to concentrate on the lyrics and what they're saying and that, fam.
Все останется в прошлом. Останутся ли яркими.
they've taken a more kind of poetic approach, because you know with poets there's no music, there's no beat and them thing there, so that's what they're basically doing, poetry on the instrumental, bro, you know what I mean? But when a poet speaks and when they're performing, it makes you concentrate on the lyrics more than anything, so that's exactly what they've transformed onto the instrumental. I like that right.
Отсылками слова, что подарили близкие по духу люди. Я не знаю всех ответов на вопросы, но уверен, несомненно, в том, что время нас рассудит. Мы просто ловим азарт здесь и сейчас, скрываемся от глаз этих. Я пытаюсь подарить всего себя тебе, но постоянно что-то тянет назад. Останутся ли яркими отсылками слова, что подарили близкие по духу люди? Надеюсь, я от тебя услышу. Время нас рассудит.
And what kind of song is this as well? Because from the sound of like Need Me, it kind of makes me think that he's talking in the perspective of like loving that blood, whether it's his wife, whether it's his girlfriend, whether it's someone that he loves, blood, his daughter, I don't know, blood. So let me know in what perspective exactly are they talking about, you know what I'm saying? When he says need me, who needs him? About each instrumental as well, how it's like the way they formatted the beat, it's like they're taking you on an adventure, blood. Literally, like think of the scenes that you saw in the trailer when Miyagi was in the cave, or when Andy Panda was literally on the horizons, blood, you know what I'm saying? And the thing was literally coming towards him, but like each song is like you can literally like picture an image in your mind of just going, I don't know, walking on a desert or whatever, but like each track and each instrumental takes you on a journey, fam, and that's what I like right there, fam, you know what I mean? It accompanies the lyrics very well, so even though you're not really seeing much visually, blood, from what they're saying and also from the instrumental that's accompanying it, blood, you can definitely imagine a lot, man, you know what I mean? And like I said, the lyrics are very vivid. When they're speaking of places of experience and things that they've already been to, so it puts things even into more into more of a perspective for the listener, you know what I'm saying? Because anything they're saying is like you can imagine it yourself, because like I said, they're very methodic in the way that they format the bars and the way they put things, that it makes you think, blood, you know what I mean? They don't put it in a bland way, they put it in a very vivid way to make you think it and imagine it, blood, you know what I mean? And that's Need Me. Then we got the last song, which is Silhouette. Last song, Silhouette, blood. Let's get into it. There's a video to this one as well, so let's see what I want. Yeah, man. You just jump off the thing. Just jump off a cliff. So I'm guessing this is the same people but in a younger format.
Легкий силуэт, за ним как псих бродил ночами. Меня нежно обнимает ветер, все без печали. Как найти тебя и как ты...
And you see what I'm saying about the storytelling and that, fam? They're literally telling the story once again. And the way they're like I said, the way they choose the instrumentals, it puts like a visual image in your mind and that. But now we actually got a video to go along with it, so we don't really have to fill in the visual gap. It's already done for us.
В целом давай расскажи, что на душе, какие мысли, прошу, только не молчи. За нами точно пыль, злой посыл, суки пытались сбить с пути, взял и сбрил. Достойно двигаться и жить лишь в кайф. Давай пообещаем пронести это через
Even simple things like that. Listen to the instrumental and how we stab the sushi, but everything's going on beat. You know what I mean?
двигаться и жить лишь в кайф. Достойно двигаться и жить
Saying as the beat dropped, he stabbed
лишь в кайф. Давай пообещаем пронести это через года, дарить все так же фая.
В блоке без тебя я задыхаюсь. Все же, когда мы вместе, знаю, я растворяюсь.
Фундаментальная любовь и слово в слово повторю эти куплеты. Твоя власть, когда я счастлив, я пою.
Один человек полюбил другого, как скучно. И сколько таких историй, помню. Это был для тебя огонь, и мы уже бежим из притории.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, bruv. The choice of flow, blood. The choice of flow with the visuals, blood, is too perfect. It's ridiculous in that, fam. Because look, like I said, like literally, blood, when I was explaining one of the other tracks and I said how it's like, literally, like listen to the music in a cave and how the music sounds distorted a bit, blood. That's exactly how the instrumental sound. That's exactly what they just did. This is a perfect representation. Look how in the visual, blood, it went blurry, and also listen to Andy Panda's flow. You can't really hear exactly what he's saying, blood. So it's like the visual and also the audio is doing the exact same thing. He's kind of distorted his flow in terms of how close he is to the mic, how deep his voice is and that, blood. And then also the vision got blurry for the girl as well. That's what I mean when everything just accompanies. Everything is just perfect synchronicity, man. No matter what they're doing in that, fam. Everything makes sense. Nothing is out of place.
Сколько таких историй, помню. Это был для тебя огонь, и мы уже бежим из притории. Было тяжело, но мы бежали на свет. Я нарисую облаками твой силуэт. Если б моя вера находила ответ на те вопросы, что так часто мучили тебя, родная. Было тяжело, но мы бежали на свет. Я нарисую облаками твой силуэт. Если б моя вера находила ответ на те вопросы, что так часто мучили тебя, родная. В омуте глаз родных тонул, не мог остаться равнодушным, а рифы разбивал волну.
The song Silhouette is a mad term as well, because obviously at the start the girl literally jumped off to the cliff, and now we're going like back in time and that to like a younger form and them thing there. So a silhouette is like something that's there but not necessarily there type of thing, fam. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you can see but it's not like, you know what I'm saying, like an actual like 3D object type of thing, fam. So the song is a whole metaphor, man.
Был для тебя холодным ветром непослушным, бликами строк я промелькнул в закате, что так сильно нужен нам. Вождь ноль запущена, нервами наружу говорили с нами времена.
Горит душа, поет, и там, как было, тут тепло и грустно. Давай шептаться на своем, моя любовь тебе искусство.
Мысли о высоком нас не покидали тут. Старался делать только самый чистый звук. Кострами жаркими я разбавлял досуг, и мы с тобой наблюдали призрачную красоту. Мысли о высоком нас не покидали тут. Старался делать.
I noticed how in certain points as well how she was wearing white as well, because that obviously signifies peace in that blood, but also can also signify like someone passing in that family, you know, like a ghost kind of figure.
Чистый звук. Кострами жаркими я разбавлял досуг, и мы с тобой наблюдали призрачную красоту.
Oh, he made her a ring, fam. That's cold. The way he made that is cold with a bunch of wires.
Было тяжело, но мы бежали на свет. Я нарисую облаками твой силуэт. Незыблемая вера находила ответ на те вопросы, что так часто мучили тебя, родная. Было тяжело, но мы бежали на свет. Я нарисую облаками твой силуэт. Незыблемая вера находила ответ на те вопросы, что так часто мучили тебя, родная.
wait a minute, I just realised, is Endspil a different name for Andy Panda, blood? Let me know, bruv. Because Endspil just might be a different name for Andy Panda. He might just have multiple names. I think that's what it is. Yeah, shout out to the masterpiece, man. Shout out to the masterpiece. 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 Okay. Yeah, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. And I always like how the videos are always very simplistic but very artistic at the same way. Always gets the point across that it's supposed to, you know what I'm saying, that it supports the presenting them thing there, fam. So, yeah, man. Shout out to man like Miyagi, shout out to Andy Panda, who's also known as Endspil, I think, is what I'm guessing. And yeah, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed the reaction and that. I like the album right there, man. I like the album right there. I always like how the lyrics are very rich with knowledge and that everything always has a purpose. Everything's from a story, everything's from a certain person's type of perspective, and they always talk on different topics and that, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, like once again, how simplistic that video was, but you could literally get the meaning in that, fam, and how visual, like even if you don't have a video with these guys, as long as you have the lyrics, as long as you have the instrumental, you literally can create a visual in your head. But when there is an actual visual, an actual video, it just makes the music just so much more animated and that, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. I don't want to make this one too long. It's almost an hour long, fam, and yeah, in a bit, people, man, I'm gone.